shining a big spotlight on the fact that animal testing now is very archaic. We have computer models that do much better. And my understanding is that all along, I think it's somewhere in the area of 93% of all animal testing never amounted to anything for humans. So that's why we were doing that and putting all this money, our taxpayer dollars into this is just mind-blowing. But it just goes to show you then when the public doesn't know what's going on, these horrible atrocities are allowed to continue. So we're hoping also that this will just spread to a much broader cause for helping animals.
Welcome to the Better Life for Animals podcast, where we amplify the voices of animal advocates, sanctuaries, and changemakers working toward a kinder, more compassionate world. Through powerful stories and expert insights, we shine a light on the efforts to rescue, protect, and advocate for animals. Be sure to subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. Every follower helps us reach more people and support animal sanctuaries. Enjoy the conversation.
Pamela Smith resides in Puerto Penasco, Mexico, and Manitou Springs, Colorado. She is a mother, a grandmother, and a passionate animal advocate. Pamela has been an ethical vegan for nearly 9 years, and she is currently enrolled in FRN, plant-based coaching certification. And she also volunteers for Compassion Without Borders, which provides veterinary care and for Mexican street dogs, as well as assisting Mexican families with their pets. Pamela recently participated in the viral open rescue of beagles at Ridglan Farms in Madison, Wisconsin, in an effort to raise public awareness of beagles bred and used in laboratory testing. Pamela, welcome to the show.
Hi, Cheryl. Thank
Hi.
you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So excited to get to have this conversation. So tell us, Pamela, you live between Mexico and Colorado, two very different worlds. How does that split shape your life and your perspective as an advocate?
Well, when I decided to move to Mexico about 3 years ago, I did notice there was a problem in the area with street dogs. A part of it that you have to understand, it's a different culture, and Mexican people allow their pets to run freely. But also there are issues around availability of veterinary care, and especially as far as spay and neuter animals to keep the population under control. So I was able to get involved with that. And of course, it's a little warmish here in Mexico in the summertime. So I do keep my home in Manitou Springs for summer. And that's where my grandchildren live, so I can get caught up with them.
Beautiful. Well, tell us what led you to become an ethical vegan 9 years ago. Because, was there one specific incident that shifted everything for you, or was it a gradual occurrence?
No, it was almost immediate, Cheryl. I would buy chicken breasts from Costco that were supposedly organic. And one day I just happened to notice how large they were. And I made the connection that last time I saw a chicken, there was no possible way that they could have chicken breasts that large. So I called a friend of mine, Susan Rep, who had been a longtime vegetarian and recent vegan. And I asked her what was going on with this. And it didn't seem normal to me. She said, "Oh, Pam, let me inform you." So she sent me a video, and I just could not believe that this was going on. And I immediately told myself, I can't participate. And not only that, I need to know what else is going on in this world. And so it was pretty much immediate.
I hope that inspires many people to think about what they're purchasing. That's a great story. That could happen to anyone, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's just it was just amazing to me to know that all of this had been going on behind closed doors. That there's just sort of chatter around the fact that slaughterhouses and factory farming is bad, but you really do not realize the magnitude of it until you actually get in and look.
But that information is available if you want to look. We both know that, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I love that. I understand now that you're now pursuing a plant-based coaching certification through the Food Revolution Network. What drew you to that, and what do you plan to do with it?
I also, living here in Mexico, have in this small town that I live in, I had noticed that there's not a lot of availability for plant-based options. And of course, a lot of people, and like in the US, have fallen into the trap of a lot of processed foods. And I am just noticing my friends here and their family members all having health issues, and it's related to diet. So many of the doctors now here in Mexico too are acknowledging that, which has been a total turnaround, that they are starting to pay attention to the fact that nutrition has everything to do with our health. And so with my coaching certificate, I am hoping to educate in some form. My dream would be to have a soup kitchen that would be plant-based, just to open the door for people to basically get back to their roots, because the Mexican diet is plant-based in its origin. And I think getting back to that and getting away from processed foods and just helping my friends and their families with their health. So I'm excited about that. I'm about halfway through the course now.
I'm so impressed by how you came to this realization, and you've taken it on the road, and you're trying so many different things, some of which we haven't even talked about yet. But you are my kind of woman, Pamela Smith.
Oh, thank you, Cheryl.
Well, tell us about Compassion Without Borders. How does that work, and what does that actually look like on the ground in Mexico?
It's such a wonderful organization. I had no idea the work that they were doing until I got involved. But Compassion Without Borders is based out of Santa Rosa, California. And the founders are two veterinarians who have noticed there is a need for Mexican families to get veterinary care. So many Mexican families love their pets, but they just don't have, number one, the financial access or even transportation. So Compassion Without Borders has we call it Esperanza. It is our veterinary clinic. What Esperanza does is spay, neuter, as well as any vaccinations, tick medications, which are a problem here in this sandy area. But they also help the street dog population by taking these dogs that we are sometimes strays on the streets, or families just can't care for them. we give them the veterinary care they need, and then they are sent back they are sent to California to Muttopia to be adopted out. So they are given a second chance. So we're really, the organization does so much as far as helping the local community with their animals, as well as helping these dogs that would not have any chance for a home to be adopted out in the United States.
I understand that you work with families and not just their pets, not just the stray animals. So tell us why the community piece is so important.
There is the sweetest dog. Her name is Nina. She frequents our pickleball, a local pickleball court. And she was obviously having some sort of a health issue that we were all noticing. And once we found out the owner, she was in tears saying, "I love my dog. I just don't have the means to take care of her, and I know she needs some veterinary help." So that's where we come in, help them, and then of course you get to know the local community. So therefore, she said, I've got a neighbor who has a cat who needs to be spayed. I have a nephew who has a dog that needs neutered. We also need tick medication because we understand. So that's how it connects with the Mexican families as well. And the word gets out, and these people are so grateful to have a place that they can take their pets free of charge. Don't even have to take them. I'll take them for them. And it just really helps the community in that way. And we're helping with the population too, which can be a real problem.
You're listening to Better Life for Animals podcast. Our mission is to amplify the voices of animal advocates, sanctuaries, and changemakers working toward a kinder, more compassionate world. But we can't do it alone. We need your help. First of all, go ahead and subscribe to this channel wherever you're watching or listening. And then get involved by visiting betterlifeforanimals.com. That's betterlifeforanimals.com. Be sure to check out our blog, learn more about incredible sanctuaries, and explore our book section, where 100% of net proceeds from book sales are donated to sanctuaries. Every action you take helps to make a difference. And remember, subscribe to this channel. And now, back to the show.
If you're just joining us, we're having a conversation with Pamela Smith, and this is Better Life for Animals. Pamela, let's talk about the rescue at Ridglan Farms. For listeners who may not know, what is an open rescue and how is that different from other forms of activism?
What open rescue is actually going in and rescuing animals in the open. We don't cover our faces. It is no secret. It's out in the public for everyone to know. And because we truly believe that these animals are being abused, and especially if we're getting into Ridglan, they have been found guilty of criminal animal abuse. And the authorities are not doing anything to stop this and are allowing Ridglan to keep going business as usual until July 1, when they're supposed to turn in their veterinary breeding license. So the way it's different is we have nothing to hide. We believe what we're doing is right and correct because the authorities are not taking processing the law as they should.
A lot of people don't even realize that beagles are being used in laboratory testing. Why beagles specifically, and what happens to them?
So, beagles, I understand. I didn't know a lot about the breed until this open rescue, but they are the most docile breed of dog. The reason why they are used for testing purposes is because of that. You can come into their cage and do these horrible things to them and come back the next day and they're so happy to see you and they will allow you to do anything to them, basically. And that is the whole purpose why this breed is chosen for these laboratory experiments.
It's so sad. What was it like to be inside the facility, and what did you see, hear, and feel? Go ahead and just tell us about your experience, because I found it to be so moving.
Oh, yes, thank you. I have to say it was an incredible experience. For one thing, just to be clear, I never actually entered the facility myself. So just to give you a brief outline of how the rescue worked. There are three different teams. You have a green team who is a support team on the outside of the facility. Then you have a yellow team, which assists the red team. And the red team is actually the team that goes into the facility, takes the beagles, and then the yellow team is offering assistance, whatever that may be. In our case, at Ridglan, one of the employees came at us with their truck, trying to run down activists, doing donuts, actually slashed the tires on one of our vans that was for transport of beagles. So a lot of the yellow team were putting their arms up in front of this man who was trying to run us down and just protecting the red team. So when we entered the facility, of course, I was on the yellow team. So I was following our red team in, and we passed a major building. And the thing that hit me the most was the smell and the noise. There had to be at least 1,000 beagles in this large building that we were trying to get into. And the noise of all the barking on the outside was incredible. And the smell of dog feces and urine was unbelievable. We actually ended up not getting into that large building, but we were able to breach a smaller building through a vent opening. It was sort of a vent window, but you can imagine there is no windows, only a door. So when we did get in, the red team members went in, started bringing beagles out, and I ended up assisting a woman who, when she went into the facility, was so distraught that when she came out with a beagle in her arms, she was crying hysterically. She just could not believe what she saw. So my job was to assist her. So I asked her to take a deep breath and hooked arms with her, and we started our trek up the hill, which we parked quite a ways away, and the terrain was very hilly. And by this time, it has started raining really hard, and sleet and thunder and lightning. And this woman I was assisting finally got to the place. She just could not control her emotions. But then with the terrain and the weather, she said, "I just can't breathe." And after I made sure she was going to be okay, I asked her if I could take the beagle for her. And of course, she said, please. So I took the beagle from her and proceeded up the hill. And what I was so very shocked to notice was this dog, this lovely, beautiful dog, was just looking around at everything in total amazement. And then it occurred to me, this dog has never seen the outdoors. This dog has never seen this rain. And, my dog would be like all over the place, just with the rain hitting, didn't phase this beautiful beagle in any way, shape, or form. Instead, this puppy was just taking it all in. And then at one point, I noticed I sort of had a death grip on the belly. So I shifted my way of carrying her and placed my hand underneath the bottom and repositioned. And at that point, this beagle leaned its face up against mine, and there was just this lovely minute or two of, oh my, human touch. And of course, it got very frantic after that because police were swarming in, and we were needing to get them out of there. They were trying to take beagles away. Some of them did get taken away by the police. And so at this point, they said, just put the dog in, because the green team had made crates for the dogs to be in for transport, but we were out of crates, we were out of time. So the dog went in the van, the door closed, and they were out and left. And so by this time, the police had surrounded us, and we put our hands up and walked down the road to let the police know that we were surrendering, and we got our beagles out, and so we were done. And then we loaded into a van, which then we were detained by police and eventually released.
There's a real legal risk in doing this type of work. What was going through your mind during all of that? Were you ready for that?
Yeah, so we were informed this. So Wayne Shung, who led our group, our rescue, he is a very prominent legal scholar, as you know, but we were also briefed by a Harvard law professor who specializes in animal rights, as well as a animal rights attorney from Denver, who let us know that this is very similar to having a dog in a hot car. So, in Wisconsin law, and they were interpreting the law for us to let us know that we were legally okay to do this. However, there were I can't remember how many people stayed behind on the red team and actually asked to be arrested, because this is what we were wanting, to be arrested so that we could bring this attention to the public.
You wear a lot of hats, Pamela. How do you seem, and you also, as I'm listening to you, you have a very calm energy during what had to be a very, could have been fraught and scary, and of course, tragic experience, and yet you remained calm. Do you think that's part of what is required to be a volunteer for something as important as this? What would you recommend to people who might be thinking about wanting to participate in the future?
I don't know. Maybe I am a kind of a calm person, but I think all of us had great training ahead of time. We were there for the weekend. We did exercises in nonviolence. We knew what to expect. We did do a mock run. So I think what happens in this instance is You just go into the mode of doing what you need to do. And you put all of that out of your head. And I don't know, I did not find it difficult to do that, just to know what my job was and to put everything else aside and get these poor animals out. And as you know, when animals are suffering, I think most of us would just keep a calm head and do what we need to do to help.
I understand that you weren't able to save them all, and that the initiative is going to happen again. Do you know anything about that?
Yes. So, as you have heard, this has gotten international attention. And it is, Wayne has now scheduled another rescue that will be coming up April 19th. And from what I understand, I was not able to go back, or I would have. But there are over 2,000 people who have now, just because we put the spotlight out on this, that are going to Ridglan to get all of the rest of the 2,000 plus beagles out of there. So this is huge. And but the big thing we're hoping for as well, not only just shutting this facility down, but shining a big spotlight on the fact that animal testing now is very archaic. We have computer models that do much better. And my understanding is that all along, I think it's somewhere in the area of 93% of all animal testing never amounted to anything for humans. So that's why we were doing that and putting all this money, our taxpayer dollars into this, is just mind-blowing. But it just goes to show you then when the public doesn't know what's going on, these horrible atrocities are allowed to continue. So we're hoping also that this will just spread to a much broader cause for helping animals.
It does seem to be the one bright light in this movement, where the public is really gathering force around, putting this to rest and not having testing anymore on animals. It's that one area where even left, right, and in between are in agreement. So for that, I'm happy.
You're right, Cheryl. And this is an opportune time because the MAGA movement is very much behind getting rid of animal testing. I believe it started during COVID, so this is how long it's been going on. They were going after Anthony Fauci over testing on beagles. And so we do have support on the political side of this. But the other sad part about it is actually Dane County in Wisconsin, where these beagles are, is very blue. And the fact that they aren't caring or doing anything, or also probably in their pockets as well, in the lab money that they're all getting, they're just looking the other way. So yeah, now it is a good time, since we have this current administration who hopefully can help us to hopefully put an end to animal testing in labs.
For those people out there that are listening that want to get involved, but they just don't know where to start, what would you recommend, Pamela?
I would recommend to go to savethedogs.io. This is a website that Wayne Shung has put together. If you would like to send a donation or get involved some way, somehow, that is where you can go to help out with this upcoming rescue or any future events that we may be having in an effort to help get rid of this laboratory testing.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, Pamela. I'm so happy to know you. I hope we can do this again as we both grow in this movement and everything that we're trying to do to make the world a better place for animals. Is there anything that you would like to say before we say goodbye?
Oh, gosh. Well, thank you so much for having me, Cheryl. And yes, I just hope that perhaps this could bring some awareness because, as you and I know, Cheryl, so much of this is just behind closed doors. People are busy with their lives, but it really does have a profound effect on our lives in every way, shape, or form of how we treat animals and how our whole ecosystem just depends on all of us caring for each other. And unfortunately, I think we've moved far away from that and out of sight, and people are profiting off of it, and they just don't want us to know. But I'm hoping to get the word out to the public that we need to open our eyes and be aware, take action, and help our lesser brethren.
Beautifully put. This has been a wonderful conversation today with Pamela Smith. And if you have enjoyed today's conversation, please like and subscribe so that we can create a better life for animals.
Thank you for joining us on the Better Life for Animals podcast. Together, we can create a world where all beings are treated with dignity, respect, and care. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you're listening. It helps us reach more people and spread awareness about the incredible work happening in animal sanctuaries. You can also share this episode with friends and fellow advocates to keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep speaking up, taking action, and making a difference for the animals.